My race for understanding. I was always on the constant run from and for my own identity. I was just a twiggy brown girl when I ventured into high school. I was a misfit between two cultures, both unaccepting and accepting of me in one way or another. Torn between my native culture as a Sri Lankan girl and the culture I immigrated to as an American girl, I sheepishly joined the cross-country team, following the lead of some friends when I noticed a change in myself. My running started to become faster and faster, and I began to race. All my doubts, fears, insecurities, and questions began to resolve through the constant pounding of my shoes on the pavement. I used running to push my physical limits, which translated to me pushing my mental limits throughout other aspects of my life. I began my race for personal identity when I was 14 years old, like my other peers. I raced to identify not only with my own ancestral heritage, but the new culture I submerged in. The questions I could not answer in reality, I found truth to in the meditation of running. Running is a sleep-like state to me, an outlet to express my thoughts through my body. I challenged myself past my own physical and mental boundaries, persevering over the highest hurdles to create my character and identity as an individual. My story as an American girl begins in the small, beautiful island of Sri Lanka, said to be the pearl of the Indian Ocean. An island where the beauty of her vast landscapes is reflected through the beauty in the souls of its people. Small in size but not in heart, the country is represented by citizens devoted to her immense geographical landscapes and natural wonders. Tradition is essential and hard work mandatory in essence to the attitudes of Sri Lanka's people. A country devoted to its religious background and cultural traditions thrives on the simplicity of easy living. I love my heritage, culture, and roots. However, Sri Lanka is just the start of my story. Sri Lanka was stuck through an endless and bloody 20-year-long civil war when my parents and I left our home. At the time, I was 5 years old. We left behind our friends and family in search for education and better opportunities for all of us. The Haas family is the definition of the perfect American family. Farming was their trade, but their undeniable love for each other and their children resembled to me what true American culture was really about. Jerry and Jean Haas already had 5 kids of their own, but still lovingly welcomed my mom as a foreign exchange student in 1981. By the end of her year-long stay on a corn farm in Algona, Iowa, my mom was calling Jean and Jerry Haas Mom and Dad. As they welcomed us into the States, I began to call them Grandma and Grandpa. The Haas family showed me the ideals of being an American. They never hang up the phone without saying I love you, a concept unfamiliar to my own culture. That tiring, endless hours of hard work lead to success, and service to one's community leads to the betterment of society. They showed me faith through the strength of the love in their family. In 2001, my superhero mom had just finished her undergraduate degree from Carroll College. My parents played roles contrary to the social norms of our own culture and the new American culture we were learning. My mom went to school during the day while working at night, and my dad took care of my sister and I while tending to the daily household chores. The only income we had was from a part-time campus job my mom had. On occasions where my dad had to take my sister to various school events, I tagged along with my mom to computer science labs as she attended class. My parents worked hard to provide us with the essentials. The city bus was our primary transportation as walking got too cold during Wisconsin winters. All the clothes, books, and toys we had were secondhand items given to us by community members and friends of the Haas family. The success of my family now is determined by those foundation years where my parents restlessly worked to provide for our family. We lived in a tiny 2-bedroom apartment on the corner of Perkins Avenue. Through the boundaries of our home, I was strictly a Sri Lankan girl. I spoke Sinhalese, ate Sri Lankan food, listened to Sri Lankan music, and practiced cultural and religious traditions of my heritage. They let me learn my native culture while being able to experience the American culture that I was living. Although my parents had a limitation to their budget, they never ceased to disappoint my sister and I with showering us with a beautiful childhood experience, assimilating two cultures together. Growing up as a brown girl with thick, frizzy, and unmanageable hair, I stuck out among my friends, fair-skinned beauties with their long, shiny, straight hair. Trying to fit in, I struggled the most with my physical appearance. I dressed like the other girls, became familiar with the music and trendy styles, but no matter how hard I tried, I didn't look like them. As I fried away my curls trying to get my hair perfectly straight, I was hurt by the realization that I was losing myself as a Sri Lankan girl. I was terrified at the thought that I was abandoning my heritage as I began to become more American, and I became stuck. My confusion in my own identity I channeled into my running. I ran faster and faster to figure out who I was, racing for my own identity, until I realized my whole run I have been creating my identity as an individual already. An American girl is a girl with a voice, with a determination to create her voice and a dedication to sharing her voice to the world. Whatever her beliefs may be, being an American girl by no means is limited to anyone of a certain race, ethnicity, birthplace, socioeconomic status, sex, age, religion, etc. She walks on the vast open beauty of American soil representing her heritage. She breathes in the freedoms of this great nation. She is an American girl. Yes, I am an American girl. I have a Sri Lankan heritage. At the age of 5, my family and I emigrated from my motherland of Sri Lanka, escaping a war-torn country in pursuit of education and a better life. I have a twiggy frame, thick brown skin, and curly black hair, wild like a lion's mane. I am caring in nature, and I believe in the empowerment of women and the fight to achieve social justice to all individuals. Most importantly, I have a voice. I am willing to share my stories of success and strife in hopes that my voice can provide to others what the voice of others has provided to me.